This is the Honourable Member's valedictory speech, and all of the usual courtesies and conventions of the Chamber apply. The Honourable Colin de Grussa.
Thank you, President. And as you've just said, this is my valedictory speech in the Legislative Council. But before I begin that, I'd just like to welcome my family and friends, take up a lot of room up there, and staff members as well, and my colleagues, both in the Chamber and around as well. Thank you for coming along today. And as I sat down, President, to put some notes together for what I might say today, there were three words that really came to mind for me. And those three words that I'm reminded of when I think of my time in this place are gratitude, respect and humility. And I want to talk a little bit more about those particular words a bit later on, but for me they do really capture how I'm feeling in this moment as I sign off on my political career and move on to life outside the bubble that is Parliament. And it is with gratitude and humility that I stand before you today, President, proud to have served the people of Western Australia and the Parliament of Western Australia as a member of the Legislative Council. We all know that this is an opportunity that very, very few people in our community actually get, and for that I am truly grateful. And I do want to reflect a little bit, President, on some of the things that I will most remember from my 8 years in this role. And one of the functions that I probably did enjoy more than most others was the committee system of this place. And I think the committee system really provides that opportunity for members to come together and sort out some particular issues. And I want to reflect on some of the things that we did. Back in the 40th Parliament, way back when, I served on the Standing Committee on Legislation. Alongside, of course, the chair of the committee at that time was the Honourable Dr Sally Talbot. The Honourable Nick Coran was on that committee as well, the Honourable Simon O'Brien and the Honourable Pierre Yang. That was a great committee, President, for a new member to get introduced to the legislative process. And of course, back in those days, the Legislation Committee actually did a lot of work. In fact, by my count, we did something like 15 inquiries and reports back in the 40th Parliament. And all of that was a great way to learn about the legislative process and indeed the Legislative Council processes. And I do have, President, a very sneaking suspicion that the way the numbers have fallen at the last election, that the Legislation Committee in the 42nd Parliament might well be pretty busy. And I actually hope that is the case because, in my view, this committee is one that can have a very positive impact on improving legislation and ensuring that unintended or negative consequences are avoided as well. For what it's worth, I actually believe very firmly that there should be multiple legislation committees in this place, and that in fact every bill that comes before us should be referred automatically for a short, sharp inquiry, and then if issues are identified, perhaps a more fulsome inquiry can occur. I think that's a better way to make laws. It's also, in my view, probably a way to make this place a little more efficient because a lot of the questions that get asked in the committee stage here might already be answered. So maybe someone will take that up. It won't be me. But as others have said on many occasions, the vagaries of the Legislative Council can be frustrating and slow and apparently burdened with a huge inertia for change. But that's probably for a good reason. I think the system itself has served us well for many, many years. Yes, we can make improvements, and we've seen some of those in the last two parliaments, some amendments to standing orders and so on. And I think I'm not going to be standing here offering advice on how that might happen, but I do think that change is a good thing. Back in that 40th Parliament, I also served on a select committee. The Honourable Samantha Rowe will remember this well. This was a committee that looked into reducing the harms in our community created by illicit drug use. It wasn't an area of expertise for me. It's not an area of expertise, as I said, but this was a fascinating and really eye-opening inquiry, and I highly recommend reading the report, which I'm sure is not gathering dust anywhere on any shelves. But what I do want to do is acknowledge the members of that committee because it was a kind of an eclectic committee, I guess. We had the Honourable Alison Zamon as chair, the Honourable Samantha Rowe as deputy chair, the Honourable Michael Mission and the Honourable Aaron Stonehouse, as well as myself. It was a fascinating journey. We went around the world actually to look at some of the ways other jurisdictions treat illicit drug use, and I tell you what, it was fascinating to see some of the outcomes in their communities. But I'm not going to say much more than that because I did promise the Honourable Samantha Rowe that I wouldn't talk about the ABBA Museum or bars made of ice blocks, so I won't. They were good. They were good. In the 41st Parliament, of course, I had the privilege of serving on the Standing Committee on Public Administration, ably led by the team captain, the Honourable Pierre Yang, along with my colleagues, the Honourable Darren West, the Honourable Sandra Carr and the Honourable Wilson Tucker. That was a very, very interesting committee that did some incredibly powerful and complex inquiries and dealt with really challenging issues. And I think the St John Ambulance inquiry obviously stands out as being one of those very lengthy inquiries, as well as the inquiry into organ and tissue donation. That was fascinating for me. I didn't really realise at the time about that I actually have a piece of donated bone in my back that was inserted in 2001. So we actually went to the bone bank, as it was called then, but not now, Plus Life as it's called now, and got to see how that was made. And I'd never really contemplated it beforehand, but it was pretty interesting, to say the least. And I think the thing about committee work, President, is that it provides us with an opportunity to leave as much of the politics as you can at the door. We always did that. And work together for the common good, I guess, in many ways. I enjoy those opportunities immensely, and I would highly recommend committee involvement to any member of this place, especially new members. And while I'm here, I do want to say that the work of those committees would be impossible without the unbelievably talented committee staff in the Legislative Council Committee Office. They do an incredible job herding cats, trying to keep MPs in tow when we're travelling, or helping us to navigate the report writing process. And I want to say thank you very much to all of you in the committee office, past and present. While I'm on the subject of that, the people who make this place function also deserve our gratitude. And I don't think I can put it in words how much they actually do for us. And what they actually have to do in order to make that happen. We can't possibly function without the tireless work of the staff here. From those in the chamber, or the Hansard staff, or those behind the scenes, all of you make all of this possible, and at the same time you do it with a smile while putting up with all of us. So thank you. I do appreciate all of you, and I will miss your smiling faces when I'm on the outside. And I want to extend that appreciation more broadly to the Parliamentary Services team as well, President, led by the inimitable Rob Hunter and all of the staff who make this place, the kind of bubble that it is, function. And I extend that to all the staff, from catering to security, cleaning, gardening, maintenance, everybody, protective services. To all of you, I say thank you for what you do, and thank you for always having a smile on your face and being the people that you are. Also, President, I want to take the time to acknowledge you and thank you for your stewardship and guidance as President of the Legislative Council over the past 4 years. I've enjoyed your tenure. I've certainly enjoyed the various meetings and opportunities that you've provided for members to meet with dignitaries from all over the place, as well as other opportunities. They have been really good, and thank you for your guidance. Now I want to talk a little bit about some of the highlights, I guess, if you want to call it that, of my political career. And I found it really difficult to kind of look at one thing and say, well, that's the highlight, or a couple of things and say that, because the things that really stand out for me as highlights, if you like, are probably things that you're never going to hear about or read about in a newspaper, President. Whether that be the constituents who come through the door facing some incredible circumstance that you could never imagine, if that's trying to navigate some bureaucratic agency problem, or seeking justice for a past injustice, or it could be a small sporting club, or even an individual seeking sponsorship for their child to travel or to attend some sporting thing that they otherwise couldn't reach. It is those people who really stand out in my mind as the highlights for me, but also some of the legislation we passed as well in this place that had a profound impact for some people. And I'll talk a little bit about that later on. And I think it's our ability and opportunity to be able to help all those people that is unique to the parliamentary process, but it's also equal across the chamber. I don't think it matters whether you're in government or not. You still have access to the tools and to the people to be able to make a difference for every one of those people that comes in that door in some way. And ultimately, that's the things that really stick in my mind as being rewarding. In terms of legislation, obviously members have spoken in this place about some of the bigger bills we passed in the 40th and 41st Parliament, of course not in government as an opposition member, but I do remember the voluntary assisted dying legislation. That has been spoken about in here before. Incredibly complex piece of legislation, a monumental achievement for the state. In fact, studiously, I kept a spreadsheet of the debate throughout the committee stage of that legislation, right from clause 9 all the way through. And by my account, I had looked at the spreadsheet last night, I found it, some 571 lines of information in there and 52 hours and 16 minutes of debate in committee on that legislation. And I think it deserved every single minute of that. It was difficult, it was challenging, it was tiring, but an incredibly important piece of legislation that deserved the scrutiny it got and was very rewarding to see that passed. One of the other pieces of legislation that members may not even remember was way back in 2017 from memory. And I didn't think at the time, I knew at the time it would have some impact, but I didn't quite realise how profound it was. And that was actually something pursued by a former member of the Liberal Party, actually, Dr Graham Jacobs. And that was the removal of the statute of limitations for child sex abuse, for victims of child sex abuse. I remember when that passed thinking that was a good thing, but then kind of flooded with calls from people who were affected by the statute of limitations and now had some ability to get redress for the things that they'd suffered. And for me, that really hit home about just how important what we do in this place is. Now I want to move on a little, but I might have a drink first. 2021. Well, that was a very different election, and we hear often from those on the other side about how different that election was and how great it was from their perspective, I guess, too. And look, if we were in the comfy seats, we'd be saying the same thing, I'm sure. Others have spoken many times about the challenges of opposition and, you know, the character building opportunities it might offer. From my perspective, though, President, with so few members across both the National and Liberal parties, we obviously had to form the alliance we did, a good thing. But with so few members and the necessity for us as individuals to carry multiple portfolios was going to always present huge challenges in simply being able to do the job. But it was also rewarding. It was also very rewarding, and I met many fantastic people as a result of those portfolios and also attended many incredible events. And probably for me, the most significant opportunities came as Shadow Minister for Veterans Issues, and the ability and opportunity to be invited and attend all sorts of events that honoured those who served our state and our nation in all kinds of conflicts over the years. I won't ever forget the many wreaths I have laid on behalf of His Majesty's loyal opposition and the immense sacrifices of those who gave their lives so that we can live as we do today. Those people I admire most. There was other opportunities in other portfolios, of course, that kept me very busy. In particular, agriculture and fisheries. They're industries that are dear to my heart, my background obviously, and they're full of really, really good, hard-working, decent Western Australian people. I'm sure the Honourable Jackie Jarvis, as the new Minister for Fisheries, has got a one-page plan to solve all the challenges of the fisheries portfolio. I'm sure you can do that in 5 minutes flat. It's complex, it's difficult, and I wish you well. But with the workload of those portfolios, of course, comes the challenges of resourcing. And as all members are aware, we as members of this place have 2 full-time equivalent staff available to us. And inevitably, even though there is some funding for opposition in the Leader's office. The reality is that our electorate office staff have to also carry a huge chunk of the workload in addition to constituent duties, along with us obviously as members. And there is no way that any of us in this place could do the work we do without the people who keep us on our toes, scheduled, organised and researched. Thank you. And I've been extremely fortunate in my time, President, to have only 3 staff members who have been a part of my team over the 8 years I've been in this place. And I cannot express my gratitude to them in words. They're sitting in the gallery as I speak. Alison started with me not long after the election in 2017 and has kept the Geraldton office humming for those 8 years. In Esperance, I was fortunate to have Tori with me until around 2020 when she moved on to bigger and better things, and then Shane. Of course, the wise man from the south started with me after that and has been with me since. It truly has been my privilege to share the journey with the 3 of you. We make a great team, and I emphasise that. I've always seen it as a team. We're all equal in that team. I think I can't do what I do without what they do. So thank you for keeping me on the straight and narrow, for making sure I was on time, on track, and across the things that I needed to be across. I'm going to miss our weekly meetings and non-stop struggling to fit events in. I'm quite sure that you are not going to miss me changing my flights every 5 seconds or changing meeting times long after you've had them locked in. And I'm sure you're not going to miss my edits to media statements and speeches and the tireless badgering to get questions ready and lodged. You guys are incredible. I am so proud to have had the opportunity to work with you over these years and to call you my friends. Thank you for joining me today. It does mean a lot to me. To my parliamentary colleague, Marty Aldridge, thank you for all you have done in your service of this place. And I'm sure, like me, you will enjoy life outside the bubble. Your commitment to the Parliament and to the National Party is unending, and your ability to dig into the details of issues was also unmatched. So thanks, Marty. To my parliamentary colleagues over the 8 years, Mia, Terry, Pete, Jackie, Holty, Shane, Vince, and those who didn't go the full distance, thank you for your work and guidance over the years. And to the other members of the broader National Party staff in our electorate offices and in the Leader's office as well, I thank all of you, past and present, for the work you also did for our little team. You guys do an incredible job. For a small team, and I've really valued personally the interactions we've had over the years. For those who are staying on, all the best for your success wrangling the new team. And it's a good team too. To the members of the National Party, thank you for your support and faith in me over the years as candidate, branch president, state president, and finally Member of Parliament. Your passion and commitment is why the Nationals exist and continue to represent regional communities with vitality. To my colleagues in the Liberal Party, it has been a privilege to work with you, especially over the last 4 years. A somewhat unusual circumstance, but nonetheless a privilege. Of course, I am going to miss the completely harmonious relationship our parties have. But it has been a pretty good working relationship in this chamber, and after all, this is the chamber that does all the work. So one thing I do want to note, though, as whip, every time I lost a division, that was a bottle of wine. Didn't win too many, but I am informed reliably by a standing order that I created that debt is passed on to the next whip. So whoever puts their hand up for that, good luck. Maybe you just have to win a few divisions to work off the debt. But now, President, I do want to come to the hard part. So before I thank my immediate family and friends in the gallery, I want to take the time to thank a few people who aren't here today. To my mum, my sister and brother, I know you have picked up the slack on more than your fair share of occasions, and I remain eternally grateful to you for that, as well as your support and understanding of the challenges this job throws up. President, there have been some very tough moments during my years in this place, but none of those have been tougher than the loss of my dad and my father-in-law. Back in February of 2022, my beautiful dad, Ken, lost a short battle with cancer. This is deeply felt by our family. He was someone who never smoked, never touched a drop of alcohol and was fit as a fiddle, yet the Big C still found a way to take him from us far too soon. I miss the political chats, the philosophical chats and the fun we had, and especially his joy at seeing his grandkids and spending time with us. And last year, we also lost a wonderful bloke in April in my father-in-law, Peter Digger Hurley, lost his battle with lung cancer. Digger was a staunch Labor man and a unionist, and in fact his father was well known in union circles as an organiser, Mick Hurley. I love the conversations we had and the time we got to spend together. I know both of them are somewhere better, and I'm sure they're having a chuckle now, but I am proud to have known the both of you, and I miss you. To all of my friends over the years, including Jamie up there in the gallery and Dave watching on from Queensland, thank you for your support and mateship. And to all of my old friends, thank God we didn't have digital cameras when we were getting around as young blokes. But thank God I kept all the negatives. To my family, politics is a selfish job in many respects. We have to be here, there and everywhere at any hour of pretty much every day. To do that and maintain a happy home is nearly impossible. But somehow I think we seem to manage. And for that, I have to thank Ali, my beautiful wife up there in the gallery. We met 10 years ago. I can't believe it's been 10 years. And we married 3 years ago. Thank you for always keeping me grounded. There was always washing or cooking to do, and I actually really valued coming home to normality. I can't tell you how much that grounding has really been a good thing. I look forward to spending more time with you and growing old, although your girls would probably say older, together. You are the rock and you are my world. To my girls, all 5 of you, a blended family is challenging, but somehow you seem to make it work. And I know it's been hard when I've been away a lot and I've missed a lot of things that have happened in your lives. I can think of nothing better than having the time to see where your lives take you and also to annoy you every day to get the chores done. But I won't miss having to dash out of committee hearings for a car crash, Chloe, or to run out of a hearing with St John Ambulance because one of the girls was in the back of an ambulance, Amelia. Chloe, Maya, Amelia, Nairi and Evie, I love you guys. I promise you won't get sick of me. Erin, Michael, Lewis and Pat, the in-laws, thank you for your support and help over the years and for being here today. I look forward to plenty more shindigs at Casa de Hilditch. And I did say, President, during my introductory remarks that I would come back to those 3 words I mentioned. Firstly, I am grateful for the opportunity itself to have been a member of this place, and I am grateful for my party for giving me that opportunity. Secondly, I have the utmost respect for every single one of you in this place, now, and those who will come after and those who came before. I have nothing but the greatest of respect for every single one of the members and staff of this place. Whether or not we agree on issues is irrelevant in my view. The fact that we are here representing our communities, our values and our ideals earns respect. And I also thank all of you for your service to the people of Western Australia. Thirdly and finally, President, humility. Some would say humility is somewhat of an anachronism in modern politics, but I think being humble is incredibly important for anyone in any sort of leadership position. If we can maintain humility in our roles as community leaders and be confident enough to admit our own mistakes, seek input from others and prioritise overall success above self, I believe we'll make better decisions. And if I could find the words to sum up what the Legislative Council kind of is, I would probably borrow the words of Michael Collins, the Apollo 11 command module pilot. I am a space nerd. He described the 3 astronauts of Apollo 11 as amiable strangers. To some extent, that's what we are here, though the theatre of politics would have the world believe that that's not the case. We, of course, know different. President, I don't know what will happen after the 21st of May for me, but whatever it is, I can't wait. I eagerly look forward to the next chapter of my life. I wish every single one of you all the very best for wherever life and this job takes you. And as they say, President, the best speech has a good beginning, a good ending, and has them close together. I tried. Thank you.